Cool. Wow, good to see you again. So how have you been?
Yeah, it's good to see you and to chat. I'm much better than what I was when we last spoke. I think I was
Good.
in a lot of trouble the last time we spoke.
Mm.
Just come out of, I think I'd had a Herxheimer reaction. It was a sort of a month-long process. I was very fatigued and drained. So I'm in a much better position than we last spoke.
Oh, good.
Yesterday, things opened up here in Sydney. So I'm in a different province or state to
Right.
Victoria and Melbourne. But it was only opened up to those that have had the needle. Everybody else, we've got to wait months and months. And even then, it's a bit of a nightmare. So I'm like a lot of people, but personally, I'm struggling to accept the reality that I'm seeing. And I'm working hard on that. But it also has taken a bit of a toll with stress and anxiousness and tension
Right.
and frustration. But in spite of that current, I've actually continued to heal from the last time we spoke and make
Awesome.
lots of progress, different lessons and learnings. And also, before I forget and we get sidetracked with the conversation, I just want to say a massive heartfelt thank you for doing the emotion code session. I wasn't expecting that. And
Oh, no, my pleasure.
wow, like the timing of that was incredible. And the
I was,
release that I had was huge.
oh, cool. Wow.
And so my realization from that was, here I am thinking that all my traumas were stored from childhood and not realizing there's been layers and layers built up
Right.
around it, which explains why I couldn't really access. I was going to the source, but there was a number of walls and layers that I couldn't get to. And so it was a huge epiphany. I remember just sort of waking up and thinking, wow, there was so much of that I had just not even paid attention to that just came up after your session. So I was blown away by the effectiveness of it.
Oh, cool. Wow.
6 months, I reckon. So since probably early April, and seeing where I was then versus where I am now, even in just temperament or attitude, or even just thoughts and beliefs about certain foods. I have, for example, I'll have kefir now without a second thought, raw milk kefir. So I'm having raw milk.
Cool.
Even sourdough bread.
Oh, nice.
So I've actually changed my food intake quite a lot. And now I sometimes look back when I'm eating something after the fact and I'll be like, I remember being terrified about eating this. And now I don't think twice about it. So I'll be able to expand that later. But if I'm looking at the entire forest to begin with, it does become quite overwhelming. But this is where your videos are amazing. And stuff you talk about, like the video around miracle cures, mind over matter, the protocols, those things help me simplify things quite a lot. And then once it's second nature, it sort of frees up space for something else to come in.
Cool. Good. Yeah. I feel the same way you do. I always worry about the too much information thing. And like you'll notice in my Q&As and stuff, especially, and in the group, like I don't like the idea of testing. I don't like the idea of, because it's just you don't need all these labels for all these different things. Because, another label for a symptom, then they give you another label for another drug or even another special food to eat or something. And it just goes on. And we want to simplify. And one of the keys, which like I said, you've established well, is just building that good relationship with the food. And I'm so glad to hear that that's also like falling into place, becoming easier. Yeah. So I would love to help you continue to try to actually simplify it. I don't think there are a million new things that need to be brought in. A lot of times it's actually about reducing or cutting back. I just did a review on someone's thing. I wish I could share that because somebody sent me their guidance from their doctor. And I just went through, and there was like a list of like 15 comments, and like 12 of them was just like, you have this problem, you have this problem, you have that. And it was just all these problems listed with no solutions on what to do. So I was like, okay, well, look, this is just all fear mongering. Now, if I want to make money, I want to scare you to death. so that you'll buy everything I suggest, right? But that's not how we heal people, right? So there's, for me, I said, this information has no relevance. We know there's 10,000 additional things more that we don't even have labels for yet. You know, there's always endless problems. It doesn't matter to think about it. If we can really just focus on nourishment and detox, we'll be okay. And of course, it's easier said than done, right? As you know, because you've been going up and down on that roller coaster. So I know, so you still got the zeolites going, right? You're still going with the PBX.
They've just run out about a week
okay.
ago.
Okay.
And I wasn't taking them consistently. So
okay.
I just got them back in, and there's 2 bottles coming, but with the shipment delays, it's probably taken 2 weeks
Okay.
longer
Gotcha.
than usual. But I have noticed a reduction in my mental function as soon as I stopped
okay.
the zeolites. So they're definitely, I was doing the PBX and the PB. So I've got some PB left, and I'm going to continue taking that for the next week or so.
Okay, cool.
And then the PBX should be arriving hopefully at the end of this month.
Okay, good. Because that still remains probably the #1 thing on my list. Because I mean, ultimately, you know, and that's not it's not really a fast solution though, right? So that's something that usually for the very toxic people, it just takes a long time to get stuff out. And I noticed you did comment about the BOO, about the fulvic acid, right? So that's
I'm going
pretty.
to really surprise you.
Oh, okay.
So after my Herxheimer reaction, I went into hospital and into the emergency room. They did a whole bunch of tests, you know, stool samples, etc. They couldn't find anything. Then a month later of persevering, I ended up calling my gastrologist and jumping back on some anti-inflammatory medications.
Okay.
I took them for a month and a half, 2 months. And then I asked myself, are they actually changing or fixing anything? The answer was no.
Oh God. Okay.
I was taking tablets, and I don't think my body was even digesting them. I was seeing the tablets coming out.
Oh wow.
And at first I wasn't sure what that was, and then I realized it was the tablet without the coating.
Wow.
So my body wasn't absorbing it, and I thought, all right, well, maybe I'll take more. So I ended up taking more tablets and realizing that made it worse.
Wow.
So I meditated on it, and then I just felt like, well, if the tablets aren't helping and my body's not accepting them, why don't I just stop? So I then stopped the tablets and decided to restart everything, because I had really shied away from kefir, PBX, etc. And so I restarted everything probably around July.
Okay.
It's been about mid to late July. And then I started realizing that, oh, my body's enjoying kefir. At that point, I wasn't using raw milk. I was just using organic pasteurized milk from the store. And it was one that I knew my body had no issues with. So I started with that. And this time, instead of doing liters at a time, I just started started the right way, the way you advised. It started, you know, spoonful and then a cupful, and then, you know, worked my way up.
Awesome.
And then I started to really tap into my body, and I knew that the answer was I wasn't too far off. And I felt like the issue that I had was I was more toxic than I realized. So I realized it wasn't the probiotics, because I tried different ones. I did a whole bunch of experimenting, and in my heart of hearts, I was like, I'm still having diarrhea. I'm still having blood. I'm still having mucus. I'm still having urgency. What's going on? And I felt like it was just toxicity. And so that's when I restarted the PBX, the PB. That would have been in probably August, like middle of August. It's not that long ago. And at that point, my body was stable on kefir. And so I started to restart the raw milk kefir, and my body was loving that. And I still felt something was missing. And I, you know, through the time while I wasn't engaging on the Facebook community group, the Vitagenics one, I kept close to it. I was observing things. I was liking things. And I kept hearing about BOO. And at first I was like, no, I don't want to add anything else to this repertoire, because I don't need anything else to heal. And I meditated a few times, and I just felt like it could be the missing link. And I didn't know why I felt that way, but I just did. And so I ordered it, and within 7 or 8 days it arrived. And I started with probably half a teaspoon. I was like, that was the wrong idea. It was too much.
Half a teaspoon. Oh yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, it was too much. And so at first I didn't feel anything. And then about 9 days later, I just flushed out. And it's like, okay, my body's telling me this is too much. And so I pared really right back to like the tip of a teaspoon.
Cool.
And I immediately started to feel benefits of it was cleaning me out. I need to go to the bathroom straight. Not long after,
Wow.
I felt more energized. It was a really good combination to add that in. So I was then taking all the supplements and I had no issues. So I was taking
nice.
super green juice, the PB, the PBX, the BOO. I was having bone broth, raw milk kefir, MSM, some
Nice.
magnesium spray with Opti MSN in that. I agree. Oh, colloidal silver. I was having some colloidal silver. So I was doing quite a lot and my body was, was doing really well. So in terms of like where I'm at now, the urgency is completely almost gone.
Wow.
Yeah,
Nice.
that felt really good. And then with the introduction of BOO, the bloating I don't really feel it anymore. Like my bloating has reduced substantially. I'd say by 70, 80%. Sometimes it comes back, but it's pretty much gone. The pains and the cramps I used to have, another 50, 60% reduction. I don't have any intestinal cramps or pains. And my kefir and sourdough and even just general food tolerances has really gone up. So in terms of progress, it's been huge. And I think BOO has helped quite a bit. It's definitely accelerated things.
Nice.
But then if I'm lucky, I'm probably eating a third of what I used to eat a day. So I don't know what's happened there.
Wow. Well, when you say that though, compared to like years ago, you mean when you say
compared
eating
to like 6 months ago, compared to like earlier this year, it's really dropped.
Wow. It could, part of it could be that you're absorbing nutrients much better. Because like if your energy is feeling good and you're not dropping weight and you're just consuming less food, it means your absorption must be much better. The body is functioning more efficiently then. Right.
That's my sense. My sense was I probably don't need as much food because it's being used more efficiently. Now, I mean, for breakfast, I was having 3 or 4 eggs and some sourdough and some bacon, and I'd be hungry by lunch. Whereas now, if I had that, that'll get me through the entire day. Just that one meal is
that's awesome.
plenty.
I would look at that as a positive thing for a few reasons, because so also if you can do that, that means your body, your digestive system is getting more rest because you're eating less. Like I'm not like a big fan of like one meal a day. I don't like forcing any kind of cycle on people, because it's very good to trust your intuition, go with how the body feels, because we change all the time, right? And so as humans, we evolved not on any fixed schedule. We could never do that as hunters and gatherers. So we probably ate maybe sometimes once a day, sometimes twice a day, maybe sometimes 3 times a day, but it was really no fixed schedules. And so if you're feeling good, I wouldn't worry about the quantity, so if you're holding your weight and you got energy, that just means your body's real efficient.
Yeah. I agree. And I've not forced more food. And that was one of the patterns I had to break, where I was forcing food because of a limited belief. If I didn't eat a certain amount, I was going to lose weight. So my body was showing me where I wasn't working with it.
On the body.
Okay. And then that's awesome. Last question around supplements. Oxbile or any of those enzymes, do I need them at the moment? How do I know? How do I instinctively know if I need them? Is there a sign or a symptom?
If you were not digesting. So I don't think you need them because your stool is good. So then don't touch Oxbile or enzymes. You're good right now. Yeah. So, but if you have problems digesting things, if your stool starts to float a lot, you might need Oxbile. But even then, first I would check the amount of fats you're consuming. Now, in your case, you're consuming a lot of fats. That means your body has no problem. You're producing actually a lot of bile, which could be one of the difficulties. so Oxbile would make things worse for you. So that actually
Perfect.
might actually be one of your issues, is that your body's producing a lot of bile, which makes it really easy for you to digest fats, which is great. But is maybe a little bit harsher on your digestive system. But clay, this is where clay really shines, right? So clay is magical for any excess bile salts. So, and I don't think you're even having an issue there either, because you're not having diarrhea. In the
No,
past, yeah. So in the past, that may have been an issue. There may have been too much bile coming through. It could have been bile acid diarrhea. A test could have confirmed that. That may have been the issue, and your body may have corrected itself already. So
no, there's been no diarrhea for a long, long time. And if there is, it's like the
good,
occasional day, and then it kind of disappears. And
awesome,
Victor, I've taken so much out of today. I feel like you've helped me
cool,
validate things I wasn't expecting for us to talk about. And I'm really grateful for the emotion code session, and that you're going to do another one. I'm actually excited to see what's going to come up.
cool.
The way you've helped me simplify a lot of just to make, I'm very big on making this part of my lifestyle. I don't think this is it's not about forcing myself to heal, but this is like, especially with where we're going with allopathic medicine and hospitals shutting people out at the moment. And I can't even go see a general practitioner without having to have been double jabbed at the moment.
Oh
So
God,
it's nuts down here. But the fact that I can create a holistic lifestyle, that I'm detoxing, that I'm feeding the body, that I'm resting it, that I'm feeding my spirit and soul, the community you've got around you, and the work you do, I just feel really grateful to be interacting
oh,
with you
thank
again.
you, thank you,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah, I'm excited to be able to help people. So it's good for me. I'm so excited. And like I said, I think, you've got it locked down. You got all the right ideas. You're on the right track. And I'm so happy to see that you're doing so much better. That's cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, it is a journey, and you're just, you're empowered to face the future, right? You just keep getting better at what you do. Yeah. So keep up the
Thank you
good
so
work.
much, Victor.
Yeah, no, my
Thank you
pleasure.
so much.
Yeah.
I'm about to make some of the Vitagenic oats, which again is like a big treat for me, and I've had no
Awesome.
issues digesting it. It's been fermenting overnight. I used because
Fantastic.
you helped me get one of the Colloidal Silver kits, so I just used the light bulb heater
Oh,
of the
yes,
Colloidal Silver
yes.
puppy. I just
Nice.
used that. I take off the jar, put that on, put a cloth over the oats, and I've got
Perfect.
einkorn coming into my diet. So I can't thank you enough for all the little
Nice.
things that you do, but sometimes you don't get the feedback loop from everybody to tell you the big impact that it's making. So yeah, I'm a happy guy. A happier
Thank
guy, I should
you.
say.
Thank you. Thank you. God, I should cut this clip and use it as a testimonial.
You're more than welcome to, Victor. I just
Oh,
I
that's
love it.
sweet.
I love
Yeah, thank
everything
you.
you're doing, and everything that I'm learning along the way.
Wow. Well, thank you. Thank you for the kind words. There was one other thing. Did we ever talk about adrenal cocktails? Okay, that's
No,
another thing. Put that in your adrenal cocktail. You can search that in the
dreaming.
group. It's just cream of tartar. And basically, with everything you have now, like your super green juice or your camu, you just put some cream of tartar into that and mix it in. And it's basically get you potassium, because you want it to be with vitamin C.
Say that again, Victor, because I think I've just thrown out what you told me to put
cream
in.
of cream of tartar.
Yeah, I just threw that out. I thought I'd never use that. There we go.
Are you
Cream of
serious? So you didn't
tartar. Yeah,
remember
just a
why you
little.
had it? Yeah.
No, I just forgot because I was using it for baking, and I thought I'm never going to bake
Yes.
in a long time.
But
So I can just get that from the shops.
yes, it's very easy, right? Exactly. People have it for like baking, but that is a fantastic source of potassium. And so it's a lot of times it's a quick fix for adrenal fatigue, because people tend to be depleted in potassium sometimes when they're under too much stress. We hooked up. Yeah.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Victor.
All right.
Have an
Thank you,
awesome
Tony.
evening.
Thanks. You too. Keep up the great work. Ciao.